there everybody! Today on Indian Story Read Along, we're going to read a story from my June 2000 issue of Chandamama. And this is a funny story. It turns out very funny in the end, even though it has a bit of a scary title. It's called Buntu Survives Poison. How's he going to do this? Let's see. Let's start. Buntu was an orphan. He was very helpful to people in difficulty, but always played pranks with those who tried to take advantage of his goodness. While some people thought that he was quite clever, some others took him to be a fool. Buntu worked with different households and earned just enough to maintain himself. He had only few needs and had no desire for any comfort. Near his village lived a landlord named Rajul Shah. He owned an estate some 5 miles away. About 100 families lived in his estate as his subjects and paid him tax. Rajul Shah visited his estate from time to time. It was customary for his subjects to entertain him with choice food, that means delicious food, whenever he went to the house of any one of them. So then he says, "Buntu, I want someone to accompany me to my estate. My servants are busy. Will you go with me, holding the umbrella above my head?" Rajul Shah asked Buntu. "People consider it a blessing to be in my company," he added. And then Buntu says, "I too would like to feel blessed, sir, but I'm hungry. Let me eat at your home, and then I'll set out with you." Said Buntu. Rajul Shah laughed. "You'll get much better food once we reach our estate. Just tell your tummy to wait for an hour or so," he said. Buntu did not murmur any more. He walked alongside the landlord holding an umbrella above his head. Well, it's hard to stay hungry for an hour, but he's doing it, so he thinks it's going to be really, really delicious food once they get to the estate. At the estate, the landlord had to remain busy deciding a dispute between two farmers over a piece of land. Since he did not go to anyone's house, nobody offered him any food. Hours passed. By the time the dispute was settled, it was noon. Poor Buntu was almost dying with hunger and thirst, but he had no other go than wait under a banyan tree. "I must hurry back home as I'm expecting an important guest," the landlord told his people. It seems like he completely forgot that Buntu was hungry. So then, in that case, sir, please carry these with you, since you won't have any time to eat or drink them here, said the two farmers. Okay, so here's what happened. He negotiated the farmers' dispute. He settled their dispute, and then they gave him food, kind of like a payment. So one of them had brought roasted chicken and the other some fruit juice. Just then, a problem regarding another land was brought to his notice, and one of the complainants invited him for lunch. The landlord was sure that the lunch would be sumptuous, so he decided to stay on. So look, there he is. He has all of that food there with him. There's Buntu just standing there hoping he has something. So he's holding there the roasted chicken in that one hand, and he's holding the pot, the long, tall pot full of fruit juice. And then the farmers in the background, they're going away. So then he knows that the lunch at this new guy's house is going to be really yummy, so then the landlord decides to stay there. He had the roasted chicken packed in an earthen pot and covered with a piece of cloth, just like you see there. He then called Buntu and said, "My boy, take this home to my wife and tell her that I'll be late. Now, don't open it on the way, for there's a bird inside which will fly away the moment it gets a chance. And don't open this mug either. It contains deadly poison. The mere smell of it could kill you. Do you understand?" Look at him. He's lying to this poor kid. He hasn't fed him this entire time. He's been hungry for hours now. I know Buntu, he might be smart though. So he says, "Oh yes," replied Buntu, and started on his return journey. The landlord ate his lunch at the other guy's house as a guest. He took a rest for a while and then began walking home. As he had a good lunch, he now dreamt of a sumptuous dinner. consisting of the chicken and the delicious fruit juice awaiting him at home. Midway there was a lake. The landlord saw someone lying asleep under a tree, enjoying the cool breeze. But the fellow looked familiar, didn't he? The landlord went closer. The fellow asleep was none other than Buntu. Beside him lay the earthen pot and the mug, both empty. The landlord shook him awake. Let's see. And then he sat up and looked absolutely surprised. "What's the matter with you?" asked the angry landlord. "Matter with me, sir? Am I still alive?" "What do you mean?" demanded the landlord. "Sir, a sudden gust of wind tore away the cover of the pot, and as you had rightly feared, the bird flew away at once." They both know what's in there. So I was heartbroken. How to show my face to you? I decided to put an end to my life. So I drank up the poison the mug contained and lay down, sure to die in a moment. He's using the landlord's own words against him. They both knew what was in there. And goes, "But now I realize what a blessing it was to be in your company. I survived the deadly poison." Buntu bowed to a speechless Rajul Shah. That's exactly what they meant. The end. That's exactly what they meant in the beginning of the story when they said that Buntu was very kind and he wanted to help people and work odd jobs, but he was going to be smart and pull pranks on people who took advantage of his kindness. This was a fun little story. Join us again next time on Indian Story Read Along. And if you like this story, then please subscribe to our channel for more stories just like this. All right, we will see you again next time.